and welcome to Beyond the Ball 2022 Show 1 Special. I'm Paddy. I'll be hosting this week as we have some discussions we'll talk about in a while, and I'm joined by the ever-lovable Colly. Hello.
Thanks. How's it going, Paddy?
Yeah, all good? Did you have a nice Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, it was quiet. New Year's was very, very quiet. I was fairly drunk on Christmas Day now, but New Year's was fucking so quiet. Like, did nothing. Literally did nothing. Like,
and you had talk of doing like a casino night.
Yeah, we were going to do it, and then it just like I think we all with COVID kind of picked up at the last hurdle, so we just said, you know what, fuck that out the window. Like, it's not really worth it. Like, but, no, it was very quiet, very quiet. Can't complain.
Yeah. But good for football. There's some games called off, but it was very good. I suppose we're going to change it up this week in terms of we've got the FA Cup and Carabao Cup this week. We won't have Premier League football back until the 15th of January. So we're going to talk about some of the big stories going around the place at the moment, starting off with Chelsea, then maybe moving on to a little bit of Manchester United, talk about the Cups, and then we have the question section. A lot of questions in this week. So thanks very much, everyone, for sending those in. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Click that like and subscribe button. It really helps us and it lets us know you're listening. Okay, so the big story this week, I suppose, has to be Chelsea and Lukaku and what's happening with them. We'll go into it a bit deeper in a few minutes. What did you think of the Liverpool-Chelsea game, or Chelsea-Liverpool game, should I
say? Probably the best game of the season. Definitely the best first half, but I think they even in the second half, although there was no kind of action, like it was 2-2 at half time and it finished 2-2, like the pace of the game was actually unbelievable. And I was talking to one of the guys that does me on the Instagram page, Conor Keegan. He's a big United fan, and he was saying, do you know what? Like, being a United fan and watching that really shows how far behind Manchester United are in terms of just pace and ability. Like, when you compare the two teams, Liverpool and Chelsea, that game was it was lightning, and it was it was brilliant to watch. It had everything. It had the potential to have a red card after fucking 6 seconds, which I definitely
think it was a red. Was it a red?
100%, 100%.
I agree.
That's a red card.
I think it was a
100%. I don't care. You can clearly see he throws the elbow in, and I think it was a Carragher after the game was trying to say, I don't think that's a red card.
An orange card, he said.
Yeah, an orange. So his exact words were, it's not a yellow, but it's more than a yellow, but it's not quite a red. What the fuck is that? Like, that is a red. If it's more than a yellow, but it's not quite a red. There's no in between. Like, it's either more than a yellow and it's a red, or else it's not a fucking red and it's a yellow. So
I would have loved to hear if I had been the other way around what you would have said.
I would have said red card 100%. Yeah, you can see when Mane jumps in, he gives it's just, you can see the movement towards his face, like, and it's just so fucking blatant, like, and it was, like, I had said it to the lads in the group. I was like, lads, I'm going silent for this match. I won't be saying anything. 6 seconds in, I was fucking fuming and I was going crazy. And the lads were like, that didn't fucking last long. I was like, well, what do you want me to say? Like, that's a red card all day. So I didn't know. I couldn't keep it in it. But 100% best game of the season. I have to say, I agree with Shane there. Goal of the season. Yeah. What a fucking goal! Like, to be able to pull that off when you're backpedaling and you're kind of.
I'm not the type of player to do that either. It was surprising.
Do you know what? He's one of the best players in the league, and I don't care. I know people say, "Oh, fucking bias Chelsea." I just genuinely don't think people know how good he is, because, again, like I said before, a lot of United fans and Liverpool fans just don't watch Chelsea enough to have a real honest opinion of him.
No, I'm not saying he's not a good player, but I mean, to have that flair, that's like Scholes-esque in his prime, like that hitting that volley, like that was a beautiful goal. But good player, absolutely. I suppose I want to caveat this conversation that we're about to have about Chelsea, and I'm not in any way goading you or trying to fish here. You're our Chelsea expert, so I want to hear what your thoughts are as a fan. What are we going to say there?
Are we talking about Lukaku here? Are we?
No, not just Lukaku. I'm gonna go back a bit further than that.
Yeah. So no, come here. Look, I want to just stay on Kovacic for a sec, because he's so good, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Like, to pull that off, he does. Like, you can, if you see him in a couple of games when he shoots, he's not the best shooter in the world. That is one thing I will say. So that goal was a little bit special for him. Like, but to be able to backpedal like that and kind of give a little jump as you do it, like, because he's jumping backwards nearly, and he just flicks his foot at it. And everyone was saying, "Oh, if Alisson was in goal, he might have got that." I was like, "That was top corner, like that hit the post and went in." Like, how do you get much more accurate than that? Like,
yeah, you'd have to be lucky as a keeper to save that goal. You really would. Yeah, it was a super goal. Good match. I suppose both teams might walk away being happy with the draw, but then again, not really with City's form, because you just can't afford to be dropping points with City the way they're going. And the conversation we're about to have, Chelsea are still sitting in second. I know, a point or two ahead of Liverpool. They have a game in hand. Right, so Tuchel came in after Lampard. Chelsea were in not a great position under Lampard. Building. He came in, I think, the biggest manager bounce a team has ever seen, in terms of he's won the Champions League. Then he's got the Champions League bounce then going into this season. He's looked unstoppable coming into the new season. And then I remember seeing you around the time you played United, which would have been 9 games ago.
Yeah.
And from those 9 games, I seen, like, we got beaten by Man City and Liverpool the 2 games before that, and they absolutely made a show of us. And we played against yourselves, we drew. And then over those 9 games, drew 5, won 3, and lost 1. So in terms of form, he's conceded 12 goals and scored 15. And I'm only saying that you're still in second, but that's because the other teams around you, other than Man City, have been poor as well. As a Chelsea fan, as a Chelsea expert, you can't deny the dip in form. What do you think it has been?
Well, yeah, there is an obvious dip in form now. Like, I'm gonna sound like a bullshitter here and come up with a lot of excuses as well. But I do want to say, before I give me poxy excuses, does that not show the quality of the league as well? Because you're really getting all these lower, let's call them mid-table teams, who are taking points off the likes of Chelsea for one, taking them off Spurs. Like, not so much Liverpool and City at the moment. They're kind of a different class.
But Liverpool are very inconsistent as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting draws, and Wolves beat them and
compared
stuff like
to what they were.
Not Wolves the other day. But look, I do think the standard of the league is a lot better. So look, we are dropping points. Chelsea, if you look at the kind of the team over the last kind of 9 weeks, like, we lost our front three. Like, we had lost Werner. Havertz is only recently back. Lukaku was gone. We'll talk about that gobshite in a while. Like, Mason Mount was injured for a while. He was gone out of the team. Kovacic was injured for weeks. Kante was picking up knocks here and there. Jorginho wasn't fully fit. Reece James now is after picking up an injury. Chilwell done his knee, is out for the season. There was so many, like, Pulisic is only after coming back. Ziyech is picking up knocks. So there's so many injuries there that I do kind of put a lot of it down to that. In fairness to Tuchel, he's kind of stuck with the tactics, and he's tried to adapt. Like, he's tried to, like, at times he's had to play Christian Pulisic right wing back, and he done it against Liverpool there, and it didn't work. And you could see it didn't work. And the great thing about it was, he went to that formation, knew it wasn't working, and within 5 minutes, he was after making another sub and changed it back. He went with 3, I think, at the top. Oh no, he went with 5 at the back, but then reverted back to the older tactic, which, like, as a fan,
defensively, why do you seem to be leaking a lot of goals now compared to, like, at the start of the season and the end of last season? Your defense was so solid.
If you look at the dip in form in Mendy is a big kind of role in that. Like, you can see he had 2 or 3 bad games. And
Kante
to be honest
with
you, Kante has been out quite a bit. Like, but like, even looking at Mendy, it's not so much he has left. Like, he's literally, fair enough, he's left 1 or 2 bad goals in, but he's looked really dodgy, which is something that he never really done. And to be honest with you, the reason he looked so dodgy is because the ball keeps going to his feet, and he doesn't know how to fucking play football. Do you know what I mean? His goalkeeper, like, so let's use his hands. Let's get the most out of him and use his hands rather than passing it back to him and letting him try to pick passes. Scuffs it out to a number 10, and they go and attack and score. Like, so, and a lot of individual mistakes for goals, like the likes of Jorginho has cost a couple of goals as well, like bad passes.
I know if this was United or Liverpool, you might turn around and say, then, well, then is that not the manager's fault? Is that not coaching? Like,
individual errors, I don't think so much. No. Like, tactically, I don't think it's been an issue. Like, because look, we're sitting in second spot. We're still doing pretty well. Everyone keeps saying Chelsea. I think Lala was saying to me the other day, Chelsea in turmoil after the Lukaku thing came out. I was like, oh yeah, second in the league and still in 4 competitions. Yeah, we're fucked. So like, do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of, when you look at it in hindsight, it's not, the club isn't in turmoil. Fair enough, what happened with Lukaku was shit, but like, I'm happy with how we're doing. I don't think, and credit to Tuchel there about how he handled the Lukaku thing, by the way, because I thought he handled it like a fucking.
He did handle it very well. He did handle it. The club handled it very well. But I mean, in terms of you talking about being title challengers at the start of the season and the drop off in the last 9 games, that has to worry you, because there has to be an upturn in form. And I'm not even talking about winning the league, but even the teams in 3rd, 4th aren't that far behind us.
The league is over, as far as I'm concerned. Man City are too good. Man City are too good of a team to catch that type of gap. The big massive thing for City is they don't really lose anybody in the African Cup of Nations. They've Mahrez gone, and that's it. Chelsea have only really Mendy, and they have one of the most expensive keepers ever to play the game sitting on the bench, which isn't a bad replacement. But I think Liverpool and are going to be the big sufferers with losing Salah and Mane. Like Klopp obviously knew this was coming, and he said he's prepared for it and he's ready for it. But how can you prepare for losing 2 of the best players in the world? Like, it's just I just don't think it's going to work out well for them. In terms of Chelsea, I do think Chelsea will stay there the whole season. I don't think we're going to dip too much more now. I think this is probably going to be, like, you never know. This Lukaku thing could spur everybody else on. Like you've seen the pace that we played against Liverpool. If we play against half the teams that with 75% of that pace will be them 100%. We have the talent there to do it. Chelsea do have an unbelievable squad depth as well. So although I'm talking about all these injuries, if you actually look at our starting 11, it's actually fucking very good. Like, but there is a lot of injuries there.
I just said 5 draws in the last 9 games. But I suppose, as you said, it did look like you were gaining a bit of form again against Liverpool. That was a great second half from you. And with Lukaku added to that, and on form Lukaku, you should be good. And I suppose moving on to Lukaku now, we just seen it coming out with Chelsea here now. He apologised, but what did you think of the initial interview where he comes out? And I just watched it before we came on here. He says that he was wrong in the way he left Inter without talking to the fans. He would like to go back and play one day, but not at the end of his career, a bit before that. Now, he signed a 5-year contract with Chelsea. He's what age now?
28. He's 28.
So that means
33.
33. Can we see Lukaku playing like in his prime still at 33? I don't think so, for the size of him. I really don't. What do you think as a fan?
Like, right, let's call a spade, right? The fucking interview couldn't have been a worse time. So he's after being out in COVID, being injured, struggling to get a game. Obviously he felt so. He came back and he said to the coach, right, obviously I'm good to go. Like, let's go, put me in. Tuchel didn't go, okay, right, hold on, let's just drop everyone and put fucking Tuchel in. Or put Lukaku in. Tuchel has a format and a system that he wants to play, and he's not going to just suit one player. So
did you know that interview was taken 3 weeks before it was aired?
3 weeks. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying in terms of timing.
Just strange.
So he came back into the team. He scored 2 goals in 2 games. And then it got released. So he done the interview, got back into the team, scored 2 goals, and then the interview comes out, and then all of a sudden he's a fucking shit show for himself.
Yeah.
I just think it was an awful decision to even have that interview. He shouldn't have even mentioned Chelsea in it. If it was a message to the Inter fans, he shouldn't have even mentioned Chelsea about coming back. Like, why are Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, why are these teams even being mentioned in this interview? I can understand he was frustrated, wants to play every game. Look, you have to love his kind of enthusiasm to be on the pitch, but when you're that such high of a profile player, you can't do interviews like that and not expect something to come from it. I just think it's just way too much. Like, fucking unbelievable what you done. And
he came out with his apology today. I'm just going to share my screen.
Do you know what that apology was to me?
Look at this. This is Romelu Lukaku's official Facebook page as of today, after his apology, still saying Inter Milan.
Yeah. Now I looked at that the other day, and that had disappeared. So I don't
intro.
know.
This is live now. Live.
So I don't. How much? When was the last time he actually posted on that?
30th of December, so a week ago.
December.
But he it's not him. He has a media team.
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't think so much that's him. I'll allow him on that, right? So
he should be sacking his media team then, because that does not look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the it doesn't look good for him, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I do think he's probably like the interview, the apology interview is embarrassing. It's almost like, right, we've rehearsed this, right? So like it starts off with the interview saying, "Oh, during the week you said some of these things. Like why did you say that?" And he's just like, "Oh well, look, it was just an interview to say goodbye to the Inter Milan fans, blah blah blah." Like it seems so scripted. And you know what it's like? It's like when you throw something at your little brother and your ma gives out to you and you have to go and you have to sit you down in front of it right now. Fucking apologize to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for throwing that out there. Like, do you know what I mean? It like fucking emotionless. Do you know what I mean? That was what I got from that apology. Absolute zero emotion, zero passion. And again, you can see his fucking stinking attitude where he's just like, yeah, well, like obviously I want to do the best for the team, and I think like I'll be brilliant. And it was just all about him.
I think he's done now for the Chelsea fans, isn't he? Even if he comes out and scores 20 goals for the season, I think. But I mean, in terms of being a player you love, playing for your club, like if he got sold now in January or next summer, would you miss him? Really?
No.
After doing that, no.
Right. So you have to kind of weigh in at the moment where the Chelsea fans are at with him. Yes, so everyone was calling for an apology. So he obviously had the meeting, what day is today? Tuesday. He had the meeting Monday with Tuchel, apologised to Tuchel and the lads in the dressing rooms. That came out. Then all of a sudden he gets a public apology out today. That was what the fans were calling for. A lot of them won't be forgiven, and they won't unless they see absolute work rate. Chelsea have a habit of really sticking by struggling players once they're putting in the work. So we've seen it loads of times with Chelsea. Fernando Torres being one. Mattia Kesman. Kesman, I can't remember his first name. Kesman was another one. Varane was actually a struggling player that Chelsea fans really, really took to. Who else?
But strikers. And I understand about all those players, but those players didn't disrespect the club.
I know, but this is where he has. Yeah, but this is where he has to work. So if them players, Morata was one that this is a good example. Morata is one that turned on the Chelsea fans and Chelsea team. So he said, "I want to leave," and that was it. That was him done. Chelsea fans, bang, gone. No support for him. Fuck him. See you later. Same with Thibaut Courtois. As soon as he came out and said, "I want to leave Chelsea," done. Because you could see he had a stinking attitude. So now it's kind of Morata, but it's in the reverse where he's nearly said, like, right, we can take it out of context. I don't really know if, I don't think he really wants to leave Chelsea. I think he's probably just said something just to kind of keep, just to be, I think it's more, he just said it because he think he was probably doing something good for the Inter Milan fans, saying, "I'll definitely come back and play." That's like me telling me, mate, "Oh yeah, I'll 100% meet you in the pub that day."
But hold on, that's not like you telling your mate, because he's getting paid €100,000 a week. They just spent over 100 million on him in the summer. He has to have, look, even this Facebook thing now, either he has the most stupid media team around him, or he doesn't just get being a decent player. Like that was nearly like he was throwing a tantrum because he wasn't getting playing. Like, I'm a 100 million player. They should be building a team around me.
Yeah.
And Tuchel's probably like, "What the fuck are you gone on about here?" And he apologizes after he was dropped for the Liverpool game, which was a massive move by the manager. And I have to say, that's big balls to do, because if he's had a loss, that would have been on the manager then big time. And you don't need players putting that sort of pressure on the manager.
I don't know. If we had a loss, I think people would have looked more at Lukaku. So that's why I think Lukaku really shot himself in the foot, where if Lukaku had played and we had a loss, then people would have started looking at the manager. But if he was dropped, I think he was right to do completely. And you know what I love? Didn't just drop him, took him out of the whole squad. Love that. Love that he didn't put him on the bench.
Yeah, that was a message. Yeah,
that was Tuchel basically saying, "We can do it without you." Like, Imagine having the fucking nerve, the absolute nerve of coming into a team that's literally just after winning the Champions League and saying, I'm not happy with the manager's tactics because it doesn't suit me. Imagine being that guy and that fucking narrow-minded to think that you're the only person that should be like center of attention here after a team has just won the league, like, or the Champions League. It's delusional.
I think he's got ideas above his stations, all right. But look, here, listen, we've been 20 minutes now talking about Chelsea. Maybe we'll just start moving on
change.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the new year. Don't worry, we won't be
nice.
habit of it. Everybody,
feels good. It does.
Apologize.
No, I know how you feel every weekend to talk about United so much.
Jeez, we can never shut you up about bleeding Chelsea. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I suppose to get my fix for this week, did you watch the United Wolves game last night?
Did I watch it? Oh, I loved it. Every single bit of it. Paddy, I'm gonna take over as host now for 5 seconds, and I'm gonna say, how did you feel after watching this game? Like, now look, when the Tuchel thing came out, you got straight onto the fucking WhatsApp group and you're saying Chelsea, joke of a club, Lukaku, fucking blah blah blah. And I put one question out. I put the question out once.
I was surprised you were happy with the draw with a poor Liverpool side, half the team injured, and you as Champions League winners. That's why I was just surprised that you were happy with the draw in Stamford Bridge.
So I gave you the option. I said, Paddy, I said, shit's going on at Chelsea. Do you want to host it this week? I said, this is the only offer. I don't think I even fucking finished sending the message. Yes. In a word, yes, is what I got back. Like, literally them words. In a word, yes. So I was like, okay, right, okay. So then I was like, just imagine United didn't beat Wolves. How funny would that be? And here we are, Paddy.
No, hold on. I think after in a word, yes, and then my next message was, I really hope United win because if they don't, I'm fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here we are. United haven't won again. Paddy, I said it. I said it when he took over. I think I said it last week. I genuinely don't think that Rangnick is the right man for the job. You can probably see me as fishing here, but I'm not. I genuinely think that's true.
Yeah, you can't be fishing with a statement like that because, like, it's too early to make a judgment. But he's only an interim boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
how do you, right? So sorry, we've talked about Rangnick coming in and obviously Ollie getting fucked out, and Ollie having no identity, right? So you have one of the best managers ever, according to United fans, coming in and having an identity.
No. I never said that.
I've heard it. Not
some
you,
United fans that you've heard. Okay, that's fair enough. But don't be putting me into that boat, please. Don't be putting me into that boat.
So, like, we have someone who revolutionized German football is apparently another thing that they've said. Like, he was supposed to come in. Everyone said it. Like, so he was supposed to come in with one of the most unique identities and one of the most kind of committed identities where he played attacking football. He played high pressing football. And I haven't seen it. And I know you could say, right, look, we don't have the players to do it. You have a lot of players there that could definitely do it a lot more than he's doing it. Now, I don't know whether he's afraid to do it because he's so weak at the back and he's afraid to do it. But have you seen what you were expecting to see from this man taking over?
No, but I don't think a lot of it falls on him. I think, like previous managers to him, the core group of those players just aren't willing to work hard enough. Right, he hasn't got the wing backs he needs to play the 4-2-2-2 formation. I think Wan-Bissaka just won't do the job. Shaw could. You see he's good going forward, but Wan-Bissaka definitely won't do it. We don't have the midfield. We haven't when Ole was there, and it still hasn't been fixed. I think if we could have got Declan Rice last summer, it would have been in some way helped us. But we're just so porous and going through the midfield. I don't see how the manager will be able to do anything until we sign somebody for there. And this whole thing of, like, he's not going to buy 11 new players to play the system he wants to play. Shaw came out after the game last night, and it was shocking listening to the interview. Like, he'd played the whole game, and he was saying, if you can't play in front of 75,000 fans and give it your all for the first 2 or 3 minutes and put your stamp on the game, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And you're kind of sitting there going, like, what is it? Like, are they all just now, like, do they have post-traumatic stress or something like that, where they just, I don't know what it is with the, there's no explanation as to, I don't think, you see Conte even going in there at Tottenham. I think if Conte even had to come in with this United squad, maybe a little bit better results, but there's still something fundamentally wrong at the core of that team that needs to be fixed.
I genuinely think Conte would come in and like he's a different animal. Like I honestly, I just mean that in terms of passion and aggression. Like
I would agree, but we had Van Gaal, we had Mourinho, we had Ole. We've tried it at all. We've tried the best managers in the world. We've tried like unknown managers, and it all keeps ending the same way. It all keeps ending the same way. And so that's what I'm saying. I did think about this, like, oh, could we have got Conte and what would he have done? But it's still the same players. It's still the same.
You think about it, right? So you've had what, say, 4 or 5 different managers since Fergie's left. Like, there's been a couple of different teams there. It hasn't always been the same core players. Now there is 1 or 2 kind of stragglers there. Phil Jones being one of them. I think Phil Jones is your longest serving player. But Mourinho with this team would definitely be getting better results. I genuinely think, like, he finished second with probably a worse team. And that was, I think he came out and said, no, it was probably a bit of tongue in cheek where he was like, that for me is probably one of my biggest successes. Yeah. So, like, I genuinely think Mourinho would.
Yeah, but look, Solskjaer finished second with this team.
Yeah, and then that's why we questioned the whole Ronaldo signing. Has that actually been a burden on that team?
But this goes back to me then saying about the manager. I don't think Conte could do it. The Ronaldo signing, we'll never know. It very well could have. It could have upset everything in the whole club. You know, all the other players now are looking at this. I'm going to say past it, Ronaldo, because at the end of the day, yeah, he will get the goals, but he doesn't do anything for the team. Essentially, like, he really doesn't. Like, in terms of, you know, the work that you need done. Like, you've got him and Cavani up top, and I think Cavani's the things Cavani does well, he can't do well with Ronaldo there, because any space he'd be running into, Ronaldo's in the same space as well. So you see all the balls being crossed towards Ronaldo, or Ronaldo's going for the ball, and Cavani's just kind of, you know, floating about. Whereas you need
for scraps.
Yeah. I think you need maybe a Cavani and somebody else up there. But look, you know, it's deeper than that. Again, you need two world-class midfield players at a minimum in there. Absolutely. And I think that would fix a lot of the problems, because you'd link the defense to the attack. You'd protect the defenders better than we do now. You wouldn't lose the ball half as much, because last night I've never seen a game where any team has lost the ball more times than United with simple passes. These weren't difficult passes. It was like I could not believe it. Like, I really couldn't. It was shocking. I'm watching every game with my son, and I'm like, oh, please don't stop supporting United. Going to fucking City or Liverpool.
Keep them interested.
Oh, we're bribing them and all I am. You know,
Daddy, why do you support Manchester United when they're so shit?
I just keep on showing them reruns of the Ferguson era. Oh no, this is the United now, I swear.
Look at the treble. Look, that used to be us. But can I just say, right? So see the way you're saying there, just like about having world-class midfielders and stuff like that, and then obviously having issues at the back. Like, this system that he plays, the 4-2-2-2, whatever the fuck it is, like, I'm questioning that as well. Like, and if he's got, right, fair enough. Look, he has an identity. That's probably what he's playing. Like, why not go 4-1-3-2? Like, no, I'm saying, have your four defenders really high, like pressed up halfway line. Have your defensive midfielder nearly on that 8 role, and then your front 3 and then your 2 or whatever it is. I'm probably fucking counting them wrong there. I can't remember, but like, press it up. What am I throwing that? Press it up the whole pitch and just play in the other half. Like, they're dropping very deep, and what's happening is then you have your McTominay or else Fred, whoever it is, coming in deep as well, and they're like, although there is like 4 people maybe up at the attack, you nearly have to have more. If you watch Manchester City, like, some of their centre backs run in and add into the fucking defense. Like, it's mental. It is, like,
look,
I think he's caught in between it. Like,
every United supporter now can see this, and even the manager sees it. Like, he changed at halftime because he's seen it wasn't working, and his post-match interview even stated, now we have a week now before our next game. So I'll have time to work on a new tactic, new formation, because he knows it's not working the 4-2-2-2-2. So he has to fix it somehow. Shane just sending a message there. Where do I think United would be without the Hay and goal? He's probably won us 8 to 10 points this season. So yeah, wherever we would be without 8 or 10 points. Okay, so are you finished grilling me about United?
No. I just want to. No, I'm messing up. No, but I do think the tactical thing is a massive issue. Like you're saying there, if he does come out and change the tactics, I think it's well needed, and I would actually respect the manager a lot for that, because when a manager, and look, going back to Chelsea, Tuchel done it against Liverpool. Saw that he was after switching formation, wasn't working, and he loved that he switched it back. Love that.
Yeah.
So it shows that he has a bit of kind of, I suppose, honor. Is that what you'd,
well,
what
if he
you'd
is
call
this
it?
tactical genius, if he's saying one tactic is not working, like the one thing with Ole was that he didn't have the knowledge as a manager to change, have a plan B.
That's what I want to see.
Plan B.
That's what I want to see from Rangnick. I want to see that ability to adapt, because it's not working. I want to see a plan B. I want to see a plan C. Do you know what I mean? I want to see that, like.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's this tactical genius, we should be seeing it, really, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, Colly, that's a half an hour of 20 minutes Chelsea, 10 minutes United. We've both got our fix for this week, so I think we'll move into the question section. Okay, we've been lucky this week. We've a good few questions in. I'll take the first one, I think, if you want to go round robin with this, yeah?
Yeah, cool, yeah.
So I'll take the first one here. So the first one is from Shavakavo.
It's Shane Kavanagh. He's in the comment section there.
All right. Okay. So we'll put your real name.
Oh no, it's put the wrong one. Sorry, that's not Shane's question.
Okay. So for this one, then it's, which team has the worst fan base in terms of being toxic or disrespectful?
Sorry, that's not Shane's question. Let me just get who that actually is, because it would be very disrespectful of me not to give the right person to ask that.
Let me change it here real quick. Give me the real.
Jordan Murphy. I think I actually wrote it in.
Jordan Murphy.
Sorry, I already have it there. Paddy, look, I already have it. Sorry.
All right. Okay.
I put in the wrong question there for Shane.
Okay. Thanks, Jordan, for the question. Okay, so Colly, we'll put that to you first. Which team has the worst?
It's a hard question to answer, because you can look at it a few different ways.
Let's look in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than going country to country, let's look in the UK.
Right. Which fan has the worst fan base? It's a very hard question to answer. Like,
that has to be the one that jumps out.
In terms of toxic and in terms of disrespect, like, there's been a lot of stuff with like racism with certain crowds. Chelsea being one. I'll hold my hand up. That's a massive thing. Chelsea have always been a team that their fans have been involved with racist abuse, and I genuinely think it's a London thing. I don't think it's a Chelsea thing.
I was about to say
so most of them London clubs are probably
Millwall. Is it Millwall?
Millwall, and then West Ham. Like they would probably be the most kind of toxic, if that's what you want to call it. I think every fan base is good, and every fan base has a bad egg, and maybe a small minority. You even see it over here in the League of Ireland. Again, 99% of fans are brilliant, and then you get the odd 1 or 2% that ruin it for everyone. So I wouldn't say the worst fan base, but in terms of toxic, we've heard the most from London clubs: Millwall, West Ham, Chelsea, even Arsenal, I suppose. So that's what I would go London-based teams more than an individual team there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
What do you think?
I was about to say Millwall. Obviously, you've got those films that come out, the Football Factory and the whole lot. Like, and I'm more looking at the football hooliganism side of things. You know, the fights beforehand and the whole shebang. Like, I suppose if you're looking around the world, I don't think the Italian ultras. You know, then you've got the Polish ultras as well. Like a lot of Central European countries have a lot of, you know, Turkey. I always remember United going to Galatasaray, welcome to hell. Although I think it's more of an intimidation tactic against rival teams, so that probably helps your club. But I suppose the whole racism, and actually I see, what was it in France? We've seen it a lot lately with Napoli. No, sorry, not Napoli. Who am I talking about? I can't remember now, but there was throwing bananas and everything onto the pitch. So I don't think England is too bad when you look into around Europe. Marseille, that was it. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And a couple of games were called off recently because they were fighting with the fans.
Was it Dimitri Payet or something?
Yes,
that I'd walked off.
That's right. Yeah. Excellent. You can read my mind. Yeah.
You can get that a lot around Europe, like in some of them. And like I said, it's that small minority, the 1%, 2% that are ruining it for everybody. Like
and some of the games, like if you go to a Celtic Rangers game, you're going to see it because there's such hatred there. I remember when I was younger, going to Lansdowne Road with my dad, and we went to an Ireland-England game. Yeah. And it had to be called off. There was awful trouble. Like, so you'll get all matches. But as you said, you can't tarnish a whole club or base of supporters on a few bad eggs. No. But you can only go on news stories, really. Okay. What have we got next?
Yep. Right, next one in from Thomas Elliott. Going back to United, I suppose. When will we hear United fans say Rangnick out? Is it, Paddy, do you reckon this because this interim manager, do you reckon that gives him a little bit more leeway? Or do you reckon that, well, hold on a second, fucking 3 weeks down the line, we're after losing 2 or 3 games here. Let's make the change now before we fall too deep.
No, they won't change that now this season. No matter what happens, they won't change that now. The only thing which I wanted to bring up actually in the early conversation and I forgot was that with Rangnick being, it's an unusual one, with him being the 6-month interim manager, but then he signed a contract for 2 years on a consultancy basis, which on paper, in terms of footballing knowledge, it seems like a good idea. You have someone at the top with a lot of footballing knowledge.
Yeah.
But if he's going to want the next manager coming in to play in his, how would you say, his image,
the
manager's not really going to want to do that.
No. That's a manager being told to come in and do what you're told. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even if United went on now and won, finished top 4, won the FA Cup, had a bit of a run in the Champions League, I still wouldn't want them as the full-time manager. And I'll tell you why, because again, it would be someone we got in quick and then, they're doing well. So it'll be just all Solskjaer.
Another rally. Yeah, another rally.
I want a good plan in place. I want them to study this, find out the best manager for United with the players given, do a thorough interview process where they're bringing the managers in. What's your 5-year plan for the club? And whoever has the best ideas, get them in the summer. This is a write-off this season, which I'm fucking, excuse the language, I'm devastated to say again with United. But I can't see any fans saying Rangnick out. No, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with you there. Right, do you want to move on to the next
one? Okay, so we have one from the Did You Hear show. Again, check these guys out. Another Irish podcast talking everything but football. Maybe a little bit here and there.
Yeah, they cover a little bit of football. I heard them talking about football there this week about Robbie Keane and stuff like that. I told them I'd put them in touch.
Yeah, so check them out. Really good podcast. But their question was, whose football knowledge do you all collectively rate as the best? Is this as a pundit are they talking about? Or
I think I think they're referring to us as a kind of punditry, because if they were talking about this podcast, they know it's me. Punditry wise, it's a good question. Like, I think when you look at recent with what we've been watching, like Gary Neville speaks very well, but he went to fucking Valencia and failed as a manager. So you're caught there where, like, if you say Gary Neville, you're like, yeah, he speaks very well, but can you put it into practice? So I don't know. Maybe you could look at the likes of Henry, who comes in and he gives very kind of good opinions on things. He done it at New York, and he done well enough, I suppose, at New York, then left. Made a bullshit excuse up and then left the club, I think. It's a tough one. I don't know. Like,
I think for me now, I remember last season when Mourinho was out of a job and he worked in Sky Sports for a while.
Yeah.
And everyone was just sitting around going, wow. Everything he said, like, he just knows the game. So, and for me, if we're talking about pundits, Jose Mourinho was the best pundit I've ever seen in terms of football knowledge. Entertainment-wise, has to be Roy Keane
and Richards. The two of them, as they're a combo. They come together, they're a package.
I've even seen Roy Keane on ITV doing the international stuff for England and all, and he's just gold. He's just absolute gold, I have to say.
It's the looks, isn't it? It's just like
he's so dry. Like, people are like, is he serious? Like, and he's like, he's not serious, but he just keeps it up. Like, yeah, he's very good. He's excellent. But yeah, Jose Mourinho for me. And for you, go on. Like,
no, look, I have to agree. Like, obviously, you're talking about one of the best managers in the world there coming on and just kind of doing it while he's out of a job. We would class him more of as a manager than a pundit. So if we're talking about regular kind of pundits, I don't know. Like, are they even fucking that knowledgeable? Like, you can see Gary Neville was supposed to be one of the best ones and went into a manager job and didn't do it. So, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick.
Who do you like listening to most?
I like Roy Keane, 100%. Roy Keane is, and because I think, you know what, he's old school. He's very kind of old school, and I like that. I'd be very similar. I'd be like, right, just go and fucking do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Stop making excuses. Go and get the job done. Run your bollocks off. Put your hands up after 60 minutes and say, right, off you come. I've put my shift in. I've left it all out there. If I can only do 60 minutes of that, fair enough. Roy Keane for me is
let's broaden the question a little bit. Like, so don't deeply think about it. Just think about maybe some snippets you've heard of everything you've ever seen on television, managers, former players. Who have you listened to and thought, wow, they know the game inside and out, and you respect them so much
just
for
Mourinho. It? Mourinho, 100%. Mourinho is definitely who I've listened to, and even seeing him on that documentary. You know, the Spurs one, All or Nothing. Seeing the way he operates and just seeing the way he does certain things. I just look at him and I just go, fucking hell. It's just all mind games. It's all mental. Like, a lot of, like, 90% of what he's doing is all mental there. It's like, it's given the, like, and I hear John Terry and Lampard and all them talk about how good he was. And I think they used to say he came in, I think Lampard said it. He came in and basically said to me, "You're the best midfielder in the world." And Lampard believed it. Like, he was like, he's like, I have to believe this. Like, he's like, if you believe this, this is what's going to happen. Like, and just that was brilliant. Like, I just thought it's Mourinho. If I'm thinking about anyone else, I think Pep obviously is knowledge of the game is unbelievable. Tactically, just fucking brilliant. But in terms of what I've seen a lot of, I would have to say that Mourinho is very, very kind of good.
I you know, it kills me to say, I suppose I've watched a lot of, obviously, Manchester United documentaries. I'd have to say Alex Ferguson, but not from a tactical point of view, from a player motivational type point of view. But Mourinho, I think I had both. He may have lost it a little bit with the player point of view type of thing. He still has it tactically. You can't lose that. But that's a good question though. Thanks very much. Did you hear?
He does have a tendency of losing the dressing room. That's the only thing I'd say about Mourinho. Like, but look, that's just probably because he demands a lot.
Actually, sorry, United again. But we talk about managers. I think Ferguson would be winning the league with this group of players.
100%. That this group of players is better than the team he had when he won the team with 2014 centre mid.
Absolutely,
100%, 100%.
Scary. All right, what's next?
Right, jump on to the next one. This is from Elliot Pearson. Which Premier League manager would you least like at your club? I 100% know this answer already. I am 100% sure on this. Steven Gerrard.
Really? Steven Gerrard.
Fuck off. Don't come near Chelsea. Fuck off. Genuinely go and fuck yourself. It's just a prick.
Let me think. Jesus. You see, I wouldn't say him because I simply wouldn't even put him in
like a top job as a manager.
As a top job, like, you know what I mean? He's only like a baby in management, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have even thought of him. Looking at the top four, like, you'd want I wouldn't mind Klopp, I wouldn't mind Tuchel, I wouldn't mind Conte, Arteta.
This is who would you least like?
Yeah, all right, least like. Yeah, it'd have to be Gerrard as well, really, I suppose. Looking at me, I was really trying to, mix it up a bit, think of somebody else and all, but
I mean, you could go down to like the lowest before the worst performing team and just say, like, I don't want their manager, obviously doing shit. But like, I just fucking don't want Steven Gerrard at my club, and that's just the end of it. Like,
we've got him in the next 2 games, and I just hope he doesn't win. I really do.
And he'd be loving it. He'd be like Kevin Keegan would say, he'd love it if we beat them.
I'd say rip open a short and they'd be a Liverpool jersey on him.
Just a quick one, Paddy. The next question. This is from Shane Kavanagh. Best starting 11 from the Premier League this season. So I sent this to you earlier on today. And obviously we wanted to kind of put a bit more thought into this. So we're not going to answer this one this week. We are going to actually be revealing our best 11 for next week's podcast. So we're going to do this as a little kind of segment, I suppose. And whoever's on next week, whether if Connor or Water are back on, we'll throw it out to them as well.
Maybe we do it live and we pick an 11 between us.
Yeah, could do. Yeah.
That'll cause a bit of a controversy if we're not agreeing on a certain position.
Yeah,
we'll pick a formation and then all debate.
So what we could do is we could do our own teams out and then like kind of fight for positions.
Yeah,
cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, so Shane, we will be looking at that one next week, as an actual whole segment rather than just off the bat answering it, even though it's the Chelsea 11. But anyway,
thanks very much, Shane. I really appreciate that. So that's all the questions, Colly, isn't it?
That's everything. Yeah.
All right, great. I wanted to talk a bit about. I suppose it's cup competition time now. We've got the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. How do you feel about the English Cup competitions? Do people still care about them? I mean, outside or inside the top 4, the top 6, or are they a burden on the top teams?
Yeah, the Carabao Cup is a lot of bollocks. That's what I'm going to say. I can see the purpose of them, where for a non-league team or a national league team to get the big draw against Manchester United, Manchester City, it generates money for the club. So I can see that, and it's again, this comes down to money, not player welfare, or worrying about how like the muscles are on the players' bodies. This is a money thing. And look, I think, do you know what I think? I think the Carabao Cup should be shut off. Premier League teams shouldn't be in it. And it should actually just be Championship and down. And the FA Cup be everybody else. Because I just don't feel there's a need for two domestic cups. FA Cup, fair enough, has history and all
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't see the purpose of having two domestic cups. Nobody else has two domestic cups. Do you know what I mean? It's only England.
I don't think it'll happen, though. Do you?
I can't see them scrapping it. No, I can't see it. Like it's probably a multi-million deal with Carabao. Like they've probably got a 3-year fucking sponsorship with it or something. So I can't see it just being fucking chopped and saying, "Oh no, the players are tired." Don't think that's going to happen.
And it's the same thing with the winter break as well. For whatever reason, even though for football it probably would be better, you'd probably get a better second half of the season. There wouldn't be as many injuries, especially with COVID and all going on. It makes complete sense, but I think only for the bigger clubs, because I suppose they're involved in Europe and stuff. But it seems to be even when they voted for the 5 substitutes lately, it was voted down because I suppose the bigger teams would have an advantage. But would they, given that they have more games? I just don't understand it.
It's kind of balances out nearly there, doesn't it? Like, because they can make more subs, but they still have more games. So you're probably using the same amount of kind of minutes for each player. Whereas, like, say the likes of a fucking Aston Villa, who aren't in Europe, who are probably out of the cup early, get a little bit more of an advantage. Well, do they get an advantage? They don't have the quality to bring on in 5 subs, but they do have fresher legs. So how much can fresh legs get you through over quality? It's hard to balance that out. Like,
I suppose looking at the 2 semi-finals over the next couple of days, you've got two good games. You've got Chelsea-Tottenham, which will be a good game, and you've got Liverpool and Arsenal. But I've just seen tonight on Sky Sports News that Klopp is looking, or Liverpool, not Klopp, I suppose. Liverpool look to get the game called off because of COVID. I think there's strict rules about that in terms of they need to be able to, if they can't field 13 or 14 outfield players, they have to play it. Simple as that. But who can you see in the final?
I'd like to say Chelsea. I think Lukaku is probably going to come back into the team tomorrow, being honest. Don't know whether he'll start him or not. I've seen Timo Werner is back training, so that's another boost. Although look, everybody will say, "Oh no, Werner's fucking shit." It's a boost to have him back. I don't care what anyone says.
He had the best form when he was playing.
Yeah, I'd like to say Chelsea are going to be Spurs, but Conte again has
unbeaten since he came in.
Has Tottenham now the highest working team in the Premier League,
from being the lowest working team.
Yeah, so like massive turnaround, and that's why I was saying about him going to United. That would have been the change instantly.
I know.
I know you can say like, "Oh no, like these players aren't doing it." Fucking the manager tells you to do it, you fucking do it. Like, I'd love to see Chelsea in it, and I'd love to see We'll see Chelsea Liverpool final because that game was unbelievable. Chelsea Arsenal, there's history there. Be interesting to see that one. Of course, maybe the underdog final, Spurs and Arsenal. Bit boring though, isn't it?
What do you think of Arsenal and their upturn in form? Like I said at the start of the season, I expected them to. I'm going to keep this in every podcast. I say this.
Yeah,
now,
every podcast. Yeah.
No. But
because
they
you
do
had
seem
said
to
it.
play well now.
Yeah, you said at the start that Arsenal were gonna have a great season. Blah blah blah. I think they had like a run of the first 3 games was like City, Chelsea, and someone else, and they started off shit, and we were all saying, "Oh, not looking great now, is it?" And then all of a sudden, Arsenal just fucking took off, went on a run of outrageous amount of wins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Arsenal are very impressive lately. I respect what Arteta's after doing with Aubameyang, just getting fucking rid of him, getting him out of the team. They're now looking to offload him.
That was a big move.
Yeah. So now they're looking to offload him. I think I've seen something about Roma maybe possibly coming in there. Not too sure about that one though. But yeah, I like what they're doing. Again, we questioned Arteta at the start of the season when you had them few games. Like, is he up to it? This man has worked under Pep Guardiola for a few years. He knows what he's doing. He didn't learn nothing from Pep. And it's the same when you look at the likes of Brendan Rodgers, who worked under Mourinho for years. All these managers that work under top managers go on to be good managers. Yeah. So it's a common trend. And I think Arteta is probably going to be a very good manager. I'd like to see him actually get away from the Arsenal team. I wouldn't like to see him getting trapped there. I'd actually like to see him going off to Barcelona in the next couple of years and managing at Barcelona or something.
I don't think he will be trapped though.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to win anything though with him. I just don't think Arsenal have, unless Arsenal heavily invests, which I don't think they're ever going to do. I don't see them winning a league or a Champions League even. Maybe an FA Cup. Maybe an FA Cup.
It is all about investment, isn't it? And Kroenke just won't invest. Is the history of him not investing there? Sorry, for myself.
A quick one, Paddy. Sorry, just a quick one before you jump onto it. Shane, just letting you know, Colly, I'm building some dream team for some dream team here. Hashtag up the bell. We were talking about.
Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
This is talking about Shane and myself are kind of working in the background, maybe organising a charity event for ourselves against a couple of the Bluebell coaches and stuff like that. So that's what he's referring to there. Just saying this online, Morata had made 6 transfers since 2014, totaling 270 million if he joins Barcelona. During those 7 years, he'll have never scored more than 15 league goals. Yeah, he's fucking dirt. Next one, Shane again. The only possible reason to explain his transfer fees is that he is being used for money laundering. Yeah, seems like the only logical explanation there. Sorry, Paddy, back to you about that there about Arsenal.
No, I was just going to say for the Carabao Cup thing. Is it 2 legs?
Yeah.
It's 2 legs, okay.
So, it's 2 legs because Chelsea are playing Tottenham 3 times the next 2 weeks.
Right, so I'm going to say, Chelsea I think will go through. But I've got a funny feeling Arsenal would as well.
Really?
Yeah. I think Arsenal of last year, absolutely not. Liverpool would have just walked all over them. But I don't think Klopp will play a strong team.
Salah and Mane are gone. So
and I don't think exactly. I don't think he can afford to play a strong team for this game. Now I know the young players have been getting some results. They got a result against Leicester there a few weeks ago. Yeah. But I think Arsenal might be a bit too strong for the young Liverpool squad. If it was a full strength Liverpool squad, I'd say absolutely. But I think the young squad that they'll field, I think Arsenal might get through, and it'll be an Arsenal-Chelsea final. Just my thoughts. I wouldn't put your house on or anything like it. Before we finish up, Colly, I would like to take a little look at the Premier League table.
Okay.
And I'm going to just zoom in here so we can see it a bit better. Okay.
Look at that form from City.
So what we at the midpoint, really, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit past it. A little bit
past the midpoint there. City, look at their form, unbelievable. Yeah. Chelsea, you have to be happy.
Yeah,
not with the form, but look, you're looking at your position.
Yeah. I mean, like 10 points is a massive gap against a team like City. If you look at our goals conceded, we're like we conceded the second least amount of goals in the league, and that's after going on a dip of 9 games where we've been poor. So I think we had only conceded something like, I think it was like 1 goal from actual open play up to
those 9 matches. You've conceded 13 goals. So 3 goals before that.
Yeah. So we had only conceded something like 1 from open play, and like I think it was up to like 4 or 5 games ago, which was incredible. Like, so happy defensively, attacking. I know we have a lot of goals there, 45 goals, but look at City and Liverpool, 52 goals, 53 goals. We should definitely be up around that.
Yeah. Liverpool, can you see them keeping the pace with the African Cup of Nations, COVID?
No, I'd be very surprised with Mane and Salah going if they keep up there. I don't think it's going to be as drastic as falling out of the top 4. But I think they may struggle. Now, I think it's only 5 games they lose Salah and Mane for, but I don't think it's even 5 Premier League games. I think it may only be 3. So they're back fairly quick, but how much damage will be done in the meantime, I don't know. When they return, are Mane and Salah going to need an extra week or 2 off to recover? A lot of jet lag, different altitudes and stuff like that, take it out of your body. I worry for Liverpool now over the next kind of 3 or 4 weeks, to be honest.
Like, you look at Chelsea and Liverpool, you need City to lose 3 games and for you to win every single game for the rest of the season.
It's still, that's not even enough. It's 4. They need to lose 3 and then start drawing games along with that.
It's just not going to happen, is it?
Don't see it.
Like you'll see them losing 1 or 2. Maybe drawing 1 or 2, but Chelsea and Liverpool will as well. So,
well, next week is a massive game. It's Chelsea and Manchester City. That's a game changer. So if Chelsea can win that, that's nearly a 6-pointer there. Like
in Stamford Bridge.
It's in the Etihad, I believe.
It's in the Etihad. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'll tell you now. Actually, I have it on the graphic here. But yeah, that's going to be an absolute game changer.
And we'll talk about that in depth next week, I suppose. So how do you see that going?
It's in Etihad. To be honest with you, I just see City beating us. Like, I just think they're too good at the moment. Also, obviously losing Mendy as well doesn't help. So, I'd say City will beat us. But look, we'll talk about it next week.
Right. I usually would only go to top 4, but I'll go down to 7th because United are there. West Ham looking, like as much as the up and down now lately, but they're still in and around their top 4. Considering the season they had last season, everybody thought, no, that was their good season, but they'll drop off now. But fair play to them, they're still doing well. Tottenham, Conte coming in, very possibly could get top 4, although I probably don't think they will.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say Tottenham are gonna get top 4.
Really? Yeah.
Look at the goal. Look at the game in hand. They've 2 games in hand. Win both of them. That's 39 points. That puts them right up into 4th. 4 points clear.
Looking at that now, yeah.
I honestly think they're going to get top 4, and that's why I think, again, I'll go back and say it, United missed the fucking boat here.
Yeah, I think for top 4, it will come down to the results between these 4 teams.
Yeah, against each other.
Yeah, I really do. I want to have a quick look at the relegation battle because I see Newcastle today got Kieran Trippier. I'm sure they're going to have another couple of big money signings before the window shuts. And they're only 2 points off of safety. They do have, there's a couple of teams around them with a couple of games in hand. Burnley, Newcastle, do you think they'll go down, or do you think other teams will get dragged down?
I actually think Burnley and Watford are going to go down here with Norwich. I would be surprised if Leeds get dragged into this. I'd like to think that they will. Do you know what? Like, it's getting to the fucking squeaky bum time with Everton, whether they pull the trigger on Rafa or not. It's happened too much. I'd probably give him another week or 2. If he doesn't, like, his next match is Norwich away. If they lose that match, sack him. Pull the trigger early. Don't let yourself hope that you get the next manager in and you get a bounce. And look, if you look at the last 2 managers that Everton have got in, they seem to be able to attract big managers. Ancelotti and Rafa. Who would have thought that them 2 managers would have been there? Surely they can attract somebody big.
I heard a week or 2 ago that Ole was being lined up.
Oh, Jesus. They may as well just like, is that preparing for fucking your promotion battle from the championship?
Your parachute payments. He's going to be good with that.
But no, honestly, looking at that, I genuinely, I think Norwich will go down. I think Burnley will actually probably go down this year, and Watford. Burnley usually get themselves out of it. But I have a weird.
And they've a couple of games in hand as well. Like, they've only played 17.
Yeah.
So I think it might be Norwich, Watford, Leeds.
Think Leeds will go down?
I think I might see them going down. Yeah, I think the change in form from last season to this season, people just have them figured out. And yeah, they're just not the team they were last year.
Especially against big teams like City and all. Like City fucking trashed them. What was it, 7-0 or something? Like they're too. Like, do you know what it is, right? Bielsa is like Ollie, except Bielsa's tactic works. You know what I mean? Like, so but he has no plan B. So when it works really well. But he's got no plan B, because when they get spanked by big teams, they get fucking destroyed. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's there or there. Like it's one or the other. It's Ayers head. Like.
All right, Colly. Well, look, thanks very much for joining me this week. And it's been great. We have big plans for this year. It's good to Beyond the Ball. It's going to be a big year for Beyond the Ball. We're hoping for the podcast and for other content that we're going to put out there. Thanks everybody for listening. It's been great to be able to come back and give the show to you every week. Your support means a lot. So again, if you're on your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, follow, give us a like, give us a comment, send in questions. We'll always air them on the show. And really appreciate all you listening, and we'll be back again next week. So thank you very much.